Welcome to this episode of the Jim and Shelby Show, All Things Print Podcast. I'm Jim Raffle, and I'm joined by
Shelby!
well, not really, not this week.
Vic Patel with CraftExpress. We do miss Shelby not being here though.
Well, I mean, we sort of miss Shelby. I was kind of looking around while we were getting ready, Vic, and I see some of your cool new products. So, like a glass mason jar that's sublimationable, and it's got this cool rubber top, or probably silicone.
Yeah.
I mean, Shelby probably wouldn't like anything like that, or the new glass skinny tumblers with the wood top.
Yeah, she'd hate those.
No, she'd hate those
Yeah.
too.
We shouldn't send her any.
She goes crazy in Vic's shop because he has some of the coolest sublimation blanks, pretty much anywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're high quality too, which is nice.
Yeah, we do try.
So, but that's not what we're here to talk about today.
No.
You have some new technology which may or may not be released by the time this podcast episode gets released, because we're going to keep bringing Shelby up just so she doesn't feel left out. I'm not allowed to say like when this is because it might be around a big trade show, and this might not drop till after the trade show, and she doesn't want us to know. She doesn't want you guys to know that we're filming this in like late August.
Close to a big trade show in September.
But you've had this oven for a while.
We've had this oven for over a year
warm.
now.
It's warm.
Yeah, it's because we turned it on. That's right.
But you did something different because there's this guy over here now.
That's right. So we decided to take the oven, and the oven's been very, very popular for us, simply because people want to have been going out to their local hardware stores or their local home stores and buying these toaster ovens to sublimate. And we wanted to create something that was more classically pleasing to someone having it in their crafting room. So these have been really popular. But what we decided to do is create an add-on for the oven that allows you to actually sublimate around corners and around edges. So it has a vacuum pump that you can actually attach to the back of the oven. And it has this nice little fancy tray, which is nice and hot. I shouldn't touch it because we warmed it up before the filming. But it has a tray that allows you to add a product jig. And this is a jig for, this is not a big nail. This is actually a shin guard for soccer. But it's a jig that fits a soccer shin guard. And you'll be able to sublimate around the corners, around the edges of this shin guard using this. And so that's what we're going to demonstrate as we talk through this podcast today.
Why don't we get that going? Because that's going to take 9 minutes, and then we can talk a little bit more about what's going on at CraftExpress. You can go walk around.
Absolutely.
Why don't you walk around and make it easy?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jim.
and I'll just talk. I'll tell people what you're doing.
I'm so glad I got that permission.
Yeah.
So we're going to put the shin guard on the jig right here, and then this is
the jig has some weight too, just so you guys know.
It's made of aluminum, but it's pretty heavy. This is 3D film. It's a metallic feeling film. It almost feels like foil on one side, but the coating on this side is dull and matted to actually hold the sublimation dye on the film itself, because it's a dye that's going to get infused into the shin guard. We're going to lay this over the shin guard, line it up to the holes. Some registration holes. We're going to close this up and put some gloves on because it is still nice and toasty. And we're going to clamp it.
You want me to start the vacuum?
Once it goes in, we'll start the vacuum. So I'm going to move across the camera here. We've got this oven set for 385, and in the oven, this actually fits into the vacuum pump. So there's a little tube that will lodge itself and seal itself into the vacuum pump, and we're going to start the oven. It takes 9 minutes. It does make a
pretty quiet for a
alarm noise. Yeah.
There we go. Did I break it?
You did. That's okay. We're going to get this going.
I feel like I broke it.
I think you did break it. We're good. We're going to get this going for 8 minutes. at 385.
Oh, did you just? Oh, I was gonna set my phone, but you guys are watching us on my phone.
Yeah, don't set your phone.
Like every episode of the Jim and Shelby show that has Vic in it,
Yeah.
it's really a comedy hour or a comedy 12
Is it because of
minutes.
me or you, Jim?
It could be either.
I'm not sure which it is, so I think it's getting back up to temperature. That's why. That's okay. We're good. So,
well, it'll work.
you understand sublimation, right?
Yes.
Do you know what's happening right now?
Do I know what's happening?
Yeah,
It's sublimating.
that's right. So the ink and the dye that's actually sitting on that film, once it gets to a certain temperature, is going to sublimate, turning that dye, which is a solid, into a gas. And the polyester layer that's on the shin guard actually opens up and allows that gas, the dye gas, to envelope itself into the polyester molecules. But the process here is a little bit different too, because you're having to wrap that film around the shin guard, right? So typically, when you're sublimating onto a flat surface, so you're not worried about that. You're not worried about the print or the paper going around that flat surface. So the vacuum pump and the heat at the same time is making that film really soft and malleable. It's a cool word, malleable.
It is.
And the vacuum pump, once that film softens up, is actually sucking that film around the contours of the shin guard, and so it lays flat, and that also creates a pressure for the sublimation to occur.
So before we talk about your other new piece of equipment,
Yeah.
I should let everyone know we are actually standing in the brand new CraftExpress studio, and it really is. It's you're obviously only seeing the part that you can see. I can see the whole room. It's a beautiful studio. Hopefully, it's coming through as a beautiful studio. We've got a great backdrop. Back here is pretty much not every product, a bunch of the products.
We got a bunch of products. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's more products over there, and there's printers. So it's a great facility for demonstrating. If Vic was filming, he's got a camera up here, he's got a camera over there, he's got 2 more cameras, and so you must be doing a bunch of training videos and things like that.
Yeah. So we actually built the studio about 3 weeks ago. So this is really the first time we're actually recording something in the studio. So
wow.
For real life. But over the last couple of months, we've also gone on to HSN, the Home Shopping Network, and we were live in Tampa, Florida, or in St. Pete's, in their studios, and we've done a live from Charleston, where we are today, on HSN. So we wanted to actually build a studio that would allow us to do all these fancy things, which is switching cameras, overhead cameras, etc. And this studio is a little different because this platform rolls back and forth so that I don't have to move around when I'm demonstrating. I can be in one spot and I can just move the table to the right, and the overhead camera picks up the whatever I'm working on here. So we don't have to move cameras around. So it's really designed for one person to actually do the whole show themselves.
Which the other, I'm just thinking, like, even you sell these, right? The tape.
We do, yeah.
And if you need a heat glove, you've got a CraftExpress branded silicone heat glove.
Yes, you do.
So pretty much whatever you need as a home crafter, or even a small business, a small print shop that's trying to get into sublimation and doesn't want to necessarily buy a big printer and go full bore in. They just want to be able to do a mug here and a mug there, 5 hats. Great way to start, economical. And
yeah, and if you are a small shop, there are multiple ways that you want to get started in sublimation, right? There are folks that come in to your facility, whether it's car wrapping or whether it's some other form of decorating. They're always coming in to demonstrate that they want to show off their brand or their personal brand in one form or another.
Brands.
Oh, yes, right. Color casters.
This is our brand, but it's backwards. Why is it backwards?
You tell me.
Because we're going to put it on that hat.
We're going to sublimate it onto a hat.
And this is another new product.
This is another new product.
Because you've never had a hat press before.
That's right. So this is a great example of what you want to do. When somebody's coming in, they want to demonstrate their own personal brand, you can actually sublimate their hat or their coffee mugs right here on one of these heat presses.
Now this one, I don't know if it's this exact model, but you were showing me one that can be both a hat press.
Yep, a flat press and one that can do pens. So
Pens?
this is actually, yes, this is actually it. So a heat press is comprised of basically the heating element, which generates the heat, obviously, and the platen, which is the piece of which is the heating element piece. But that can come in many different shapes and sizes, right? For a hat, you need a concave platen. For something flat, you need literally a flat pattern. For pens, you need something that can actually take the contours of the tiny little pens. On this particular press, you'll be able to switch out the platens. So there are 3 platens that comes with this. It comes with a flat, it comes with a hat press, and a pen press, where you can do 8 pens at the same time.
How big is the flat plat?
It's a small one. It's about a 9x12.
But still good,
Pretty
good size
decent.
for crafting.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty decent size for crafting.
So someone who's crafting can get one press that they can do a whole bunch of different things
That's
on.
right. That's right. And it's great for a shop, right? So when you come in and you get an order for 20 hats, you just put the platen on and set the time and temperature and just make the 20 hats.
And just like your oven, you could use the same oven for shrink product, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. So we're almost done here.
I'm gonna have a new hat.
Yeah, hopefully.
High wire rack with no net.
No net whatsoever. Let's see if this is going and cooking.
That's got to be 50 seconds.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of cool. It stretches the hat out. Let me see. Oh, it's a little crooked.
It's a little crooked. I need to put some paper on there.
It's not bad though.
But it's not bad.
We got a little bit of spray, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's warm.
It is toasty. It comes out about 400 degrees, Jim.
If I have a big red line next time you guys see me,
We're going to have a conversation about temperature.
I keep thinking that's something new, don't I?
Yeah.
Hey, these are nice hats too. Where
Yeah.
can I buy these?
We've got them at CraftExpress.
No way.
Yeah.
It actually is
Surprise, huh?
It's actually a good quality hat. A lot of times these,
A nice trucker hat.
yeah, a lot of times the ventilated trucker hat can seem very inexpensive. It's got a padded bill, very flexible. It's a nice hat.
All right, so we've got about 30 seconds left here, and we're going to take this out once this beeps. It's going to be great.
We made some cool color casters hats. We took those out of the room while we were waiting here, but you saw me put mine on. It was great.
Yeah.
You'll get to see those at that trade show that's coming up that we're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, the one in September, but it's going to air after. It's going to be before this airs.
Right. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is good. Can you turn that pump up for me?
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
sir.
knew I forgot to do my
There
job.
you go.
See this?
All right, this looks
cool.
like the cool Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah.
So this is
cool
going to be hot. Woo. There you go.
Uh oh.
This is a good sign of sublimation happening here.
Oh, it's supposed to stick.
It's supposed to stick. So
This
it
looks
is hot,
good.
and this is why they recommend using 2 sets of gloves instead of 1.
I could get you another glove. If you
No,
need
you're
one.
good. I got this. I'm an expert here, Jim. Do not spoil my mojo.
Oh
here.
my gosh, look at that. That is cool stuff. You got to hold that up.
Look at that.
That is what we were looking for. Wow. And it
Nice.
wraps around the edges. That's
Wraps
the part.
all the way around the edges.
That's
You
the
see
part
that?
that's kind of important. Yeah.
Top 2
Very cool.
and the bottom. And here is one, as
That we made
Rachel
earlier.
Ray would say, we made earlier.
Well, this is cool. This is very cool. And this isn't. You're not selling this as of the recording.
As of the
this?
recording date, but in
Coming soon.
yeah, I would say in the next week.
Come on around.
It's hot.
I didn't even touch it long enough. That was an unforced error.
That's right. So we should have it up way before this launches. But yeah, it's here, and it's really easy to retrofit the oven with the pump.
Yeah, it doesn't look. I mean, I'm looking at the back side here. You said what? You drill one hole through it.
You drill one hole through it. It comes with a template. and in 5 minutes you've reinstalled. And as long as this is all heated up to the right temperature, you're good to go.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for having us in.
Thank you for coming down to Charleston.
And we'll see you at that show next week.
That's
in 2
right.
weeks that isn't happening in 2
Yeah.
weeks.
So we'll actually see you guys right after the show, or you'll see us right after the show. One of the two.
Shelby's she's never letting me come down here alone again. All right, Vic, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Cut.
She's going to kill me.